Good morning, children. This is 8th January, Friday, 2021, English video session for class 10. I repeat, today is 8th January, Friday, 2021, English video session for class 10. The book which we are doing is the first flight, and the topic is the sermon at Benares. We have already gone into a detailed explanation on the topic. Now we will deal about the question and answers of the same topic. When does when her son dies, Kisa Kotami goes from house to house. What does she ask for it? Does she get it? Why not? Without seeing it, please guess the children. When her dies, she goes from what did she ask? You remember? Please think over for a minute and then answer in full sentence. Do not answer in one word. Okay? Yes. Please try for some time, then you add. Yes. When Gisogotami's son died, she went house to house asking if she could get some medicines. If she could get some medicine, and she would cure her child. What does she ask for and does she get? Okay, no, she does not get it because the child was dead and no medicine could have brought back him the life. Okay, the medicines are given for general sickness, ordinary sickness. It cannot bring back the one who is already dead. So nobody was able to give her any medicine because the child is already dead. Okay. Did you is your answer is your are you able to understand? Yes. It's if you want you can also write this answer. Yes. When Kisa Gotami son died, she went from house to house, asking if she could get some medicines that could cure her child. Full stop. Leave a line. No. This is the answer for the second question. Does she get it? So whenever such clubbed questions are there, 2-3 questions, one by one you have to answer. You can even put it in separate sentences. Okay. This will be like each one carrying 1 mark. Next, why not? Because she did not get because her child was already dead and there is no medicine to bring back the life. Okay, clear? Shall we go to the next question? Kisa Gotami again goes from house to house after she speaks with Buddha. What does she ask for the second time around? Does she get it? Why not? Now, please tell the answer, children, in appropriate grammatically correct sentences. First, tell the answer. Don't see the answer. You make the answer by yourself. Kisa Gotami again goes from house to house after she speaks with Buddha. Okay, this is the first question is what does she ask for? Question 1. The second time around. Does she get it? Second question. Third, why not? So you have to give it in all the 3 questions you have to give answers. Okay, clubbed questions. Yes. When she met Buddha, he asked her to get a handful of mustard seeds from a house where no one has had lost a child, a husband, a parent, or a friend. Okay. She went house to house, but could not get a mustard seed because there was not a single house where no one had died in the family. Okay, wherever she came, she went across, there had been some death of the lost one. The dear one has been lost. So there was no house where it is not, she could not get the mustard seed at all. but could not get the mustard seed because there was no single house where no one had died in the family. Please write the question as well as the answer with the same way. How you have it's written, you have to write it in the same manner. Okay? Shall we go to the next question? Yes. What does Kisa Gotami understand the second time that she failed to understand the first time? Was this what Buddha wanted her to understand? We saw in that this one is a real question for the what he's trying to say. Buddha is trying to say whether she is able to understand or not. Let's see. What does Kisa Gotami understand the second time that she failed to understand the first time? Was this what Buddha wanted her to understand? Two questions. So first we will try for the first question. What did she fail to understand and now she understood? Let's see. Kisa Gotami understood the second time that death is common to all and that she has been being selfish in her grief. And how was she? She was being selfish in her grief. There was no house where some beloved has not died. Okay, there was no house. In all the houses, somebody has died, and everybody is keeping their grief within and they are living. Okay, what was this Buddha wanted her to understand? This basic truth. Okay, this was the what Buddha wanted her to understand. Clear, children? This is what he wanted her to understand. Yes, please write. Whenever such questions, write to 2-3 questions. First question, second question, third question. You write one by one. That will be better. No need to write the answers in the board paper also. It's only it's better you leave a line or clearly write with the bullets for easy understanding for the who are correcting. Why do you think Gisa Gotami understood this only the next time? In what way did Buddha change her understanding? Now, children, this has come as a big question. Now, how will you answer it? Why do you think Kisa Gotami understood this only the second? Why she was stupid in the first time? Even the dead child she took, you remember, going around and asking to medicines. In what way did Buddha change her understanding? See? Kisa Gotami understood that death is common to all, that and that she was being selfish in her grief. She was selfish in her grief. She understood this only the second time because it was then she found that there was no single house where some beloved has not died. Every house some beloved has died. Okay. First time round, she was only thinking about her grief and was therefore asking for medicines that could cure her son. When she met Buddha, he asked her to get handful of mustard seed from a house where no one had died. He did this purposely to make her realize that there was no single house where no one beloved had died and that death is natural. When she went to all houses the second time, she felt dejected that she could not gather the mustard seeds. Then, when she sat and thought about it, she realized that the fate of men is such that they live and die. Death is common to all. This is what Buddha had intended her to understand. So beautifully, the answer is portrayed. So, first time she did not realize. Second time she realized that death is common to all. All men and women have to live, who live have to die. Okay, this is the understanding. Okay, Please write them as the point wise so that easy for you to recollect, you don't forget. Always go with the question, why do you think Gisa Gotami understood? So Kisa Gotami understood that death is common and she was being selfish in grief. This is the most important thing. What was that common, that she was being selfish in her grief? This is a very important point. Death is common to all and she was selfish in her grief. Second time she understood that there is no single house where someone has not lost some beloved one. So every house there has been death in some way. In fact, you remember children when she went around, they said the number of people who are living are less and who are dead are more. And please don't remind us again of all those things. So what happened? People are just trying to forget and move forward. Is it not? Yeah. So please write this answer also. Kindly make the punctuations as it is given in the answer sheet. Okay. Now say, how do you usually understand the idea of selfishness? Selfishness. Do you agree with Kisa Gotami that she was being selfish in her grief? What is the meaning of selfishness? Selfish. What is the meaning? Don't see the dictionary. You try to answer as it is. What is the meaning of selfish? The selfish means being concerned only about one's own interest and showing complete disregard for the other's welfare. Okay, what is it? Selfishness means showing in only one's own interest, personal interest only, and don't care for others' welfare. You don't consider others' welfare. Okay, that is called selfishness. It can be said Kisa Gotami was being selfish in her grief. In the light of a tragedy, she was unable to see that death is something that strikes all living beings. In this sense, she was selfish. However, for every person, his or her tragedy is something very personal and it prevents him or her from looking at the tragedy from a universal or general point of view. If we take the usual sense of the word selfish, then calling Kisa Gotami selfish is would be inappropriate because every person becomes selfish in his or her grief. Okay, the one who lost the child is Kisa Gotami. Beautiful answer. So, do you agree? So, it is you have to give the answer. Every person, their tragedy is personal. The personal tragedy cannot be taken as a universal tragedy or a general viewpoint of view. Okay, the such tragedy cannot be taken as a universal tragedy or a general point of view. So how can we call it a selfish? Okay, it cannot be it would be inappropriate if we call it selfish, because every person becomes selfish in his or her grief. There is the it is their life, it is they become selfish. Okay, this is a personal. If you want, you can give your own opinion also. This is the opinion, one opinion given. If you have a different opinion, you please carry on with that also. So we can see this again. How do you usually understand the idea of selfishness? Do you agree with Kisa Gotami when she is selfish in her grief? Selfish, the real meaning is to think about your own interest and showing complete disregard for others' welfare. You show interest on your own self and don't show any sort of regard for others' welfare is selfishness. Yes, it can be said Kisha Gotami was being selfish in her grief. In the light of a tragedy, she was unable to see death is something that strikes all living beings. She was not able to understand that death is something that strikes all living things. In this sense, she was selfish. However, for every person, his or her tragedy is something personal, and and it prevents them from looking at the tragedy from the universal point of view, or a or a what general point of view. This is not general point of view, because it is her own life, it is her own loss. Okay, if we take the usual sense of the word selfish, then Kisa Gotami selfish would be inappropriate, because every person becomes selfish in his or her own grief. Okay, is the answer convincing? You put it this. Otherwise, you put your convincing, whichever is convincing to you. Okay. The text is written in old-fashioned style, for it reports an incident more than 2 millennium old. Look at the following words and phrases in the text and try to rephrase it in the current language. Give the medicines for your child. This is give you medicines. These you. Okay. Thy child, your child. Pray tell me, please tell me. Kisa repaired to the Buddha means what? Went to the Buddha. Okay, there was no house that someone had died in it. There is no house where no one had died. So someone had died on it. Kinsmen are the relation. Mark my words means what? Listen to my words. Okay, children? Yes. You know that we combine sentences using the words like, or, yet, but, and all. Then that such words seems inappropriate. In some cases, use a semicolon dash to combine two clauses. She had no interest in music. I doubt she will become a singer like her mother. The second clause here gives the opinion for the first clause. Here the first sentence that uses the semicolon to combine sentences break up the sentence into three. Can you then say which was the better rhyme? Rhythm when you read the single sentence using semicolons or the three simple sentences. For the any means by which those who have been born can avoid dying. After reaching old age, there is death of such nature as living beings. The single sentence using semicolon has a better rhythm. This is because the three parts of the sentences are connected to each other in their meanings. The second clause gives further information to the first clause. The third clause gives directly to the first and the second. The meanings are better conveyed when they are joined using semicolon. Now you understood, the children, usage of semicolon, dot and comma. There is a dot at the top and a comma at the bottom is semicolon. The clauses are connected. First one will be the main sentence. It will be the phrase, then clause, first clause, second clause, third clause. What happens? Everywhere there is a connection between these. There is no full stop with the beginning to the end. There is only connection connected through semicolon. This is an advanced way of writing, children. You can also try it. Okay. Okay. We have completed this. Yes, with this it is over. I think it has been a useful session for you, children. I request you to write the question and answers not by seeing. We have already discussed it. Write answers out of your own self by thinking over the regular patterns, the grammatical patterns, and it will be of very great helpful. Will be very great help to you in writing skills. So use appropriate words when you are making the sentences. Be calm, and you can take the help then and there of the textbook or the other materials, but try what you could do of your own. Okay? Thank you, children. See you tomorrow in the next video session. Till then, take care. Do study all the subjects, okay, and be safe. Okay.